Fight Mike here. Today I'm going to be doing a breakdown of the main event of UFC 323, headlined by Merab Dvalishvili and Petr Yan. Should be a fantastic fight, and I've done a breakdown of the full fight in this video. But let's talk about the matchup itself and sort of like the thoughts a lot of people are having coming into it. A lot of people are talking about this fight. It's a very big fight, don't get me wrong. I think it's only really a big fight at the moment because Merab's trying to make records, get his fourth title defense this year. And it is a very big moment for both of these guys. It's a pretty decently sized fight. I would argue it's probably one of the biggest fights of Petr Yan's career, if not the biggest. And then for Merab, it's at least one of the top three biggest fights that he's had so far. But for Merab, this is going to be like the main storyline coming into this is just the activity and how he's going to be able to deal with that activity. Is he coming in with injuries? Is he overtrained and overworked? Does he have extra damage that he wouldn't otherwise have? It's sort of the main aspect of the fight, and I almost think it's like the biggest component of the fight as well, because we've seen earlier in this year, we even saw this from RDR, Reina de Ritter, where he was coming into his fifth fight in the year, or fifth fight in 12 months. And that fifth fight, he showed up a shell of himself. He wasn't able to not get gassed out outside the first round. And seeing that happen to RDR, a guy with good cardio historically, makes you think about how a guy with the best cardio in the history of the UFC, Merab, how is he going to be able to deal with this? And honestly, I don't think that that's going to be necessarily the issue. I could just see it being that maybe he's a quarter of a step behind. And I think a lot of people think the same thing, but it's just whether the volume and activity can still be enough even with that one step behind. Now, for Yan coming into this fight, he doesn't really have too much going for him that's different coming into this fight, at least from the naked eye of the public. And he's sort of getting lapped in the division. Well, he is getting lapped in the division by Merab. And people are talking about this like it could be an underdeserved title shot. I disagree. I don't think it's undeserved at all. But I think for Yan coming into this, it's just what can you do differently? What can you do? And everyone knows his style, so it's going to be a pretty difficult thing to change something up. But then going back to Merab, I think he has to be uninjured and unhinged a little bit in this one. Just to make sure that he's pushing through it and being the usual Merab self, because he's going to be coming in. There's no chance he's coming in with this with no injuries at all. The fight with Sandhagen in moments was close, and he was taking a little damage here and there. I can't imagine he's coming out of that with literally nothing wrong. Same thing with his training camp. So he has to be showing up as a good version of himself. Now, moving on to like the styles that both of these guys possess. Yan's style will always be a struggle coming up against Merab. He's got that high guard style. He's a very slow starter. He takes a few rounds to load in and notice your tendencies and techniques and start to get his timing on you. He takes ages to start. And the thing is about Yan is that he takes ages to start. He's super inactive on the feet in the first few rounds, and he's not a finisher either. So Yan has got like this combination of things that will make it a Merab fight very difficult for him to win. But he's got a couple of things that he's got going for him. Like, if I'm talking about Corey Sandhagen and Sean O'Malley, those two guys are going to be so unlikely to finish Merab because the times we've seen Merab be hurt, it's not with straight punches. It's with a tight, powerful hook, like the one that Marlon Moraes was able to land on Merab. The one that Henry Cejudo was able to land on Merab, even briefly when Umar rocked Merab in the first round of their first fight. It's the same thing every time. It's always an in-close, usually a lead hook as well. So for Yan, at least he's got that one thing, the saving grace that everyone's been able to, every short guy has landed and succeeded on Merab with. So he does have that, and he's got that short guy type of punch power as well. It's not like the Sean O'Malley lengthiness and the range and the fact that you're not seeing the punch coming. He's not got that. He's got the short, coiled up punch power. So maybe that's able to bode well for Petr Yan in this fight. And one thing that doesn't work well for him, and it's a change that Merab has made in his style, and just going off what I was saying about Yan's style earlier, how it's a slow starter, he's got the high guard, he takes a while to get going. Something about Merab is that his style is the perfect style to come up against that. He's not the necessarily fastest starter, but he's active enough in the first few rounds. And then as Yan loads up into fights, or as he starts to try to load up into fights, Merab just starts spam shooting takedowns. So he's unable to get the timing on Merab, especially in the striking, because one after the other, Merab's level changing constantly. Even as he's moving, constantly moving up and down, he's constantly making you think about that. And it overloads Yan's head, and you can see that in the first fight when they were fighting. But Merab has been recently starting earlier and faster. He's getting in there a lot quicker. We saw in round 2, he was almost killing Corey Sandhagen with volume. And we saw against Sean O'Malley, even the round 2 of that fight, even though Sean was able to defend all of those takedowns, there was a good few overhands, probably 4 or 5, that Merab was able to land cleanly on Sean O'Malley in that. But in saying that, although Merab's got a better style for the fight coming into this one for Yan's also, he sort of adjusted his style to fix the issues that he had against Merab. So, especially since their first fight was quite close, and the style was like... The first fight was not close, but especially since the first fight, Petr Yan's style has changed completely. And I think it's a little bit better now because he used to kick a lot more. He would go for a lot more body kicks. He would go for a lot more head kicks off a combination. He would go for a spinning kick now and then. And he would start even slower than he does now. Now, he's sort of made some adjustments, and we will go through those later on. But he's made adjustments to really sort of counteract the stuff that Merab's been doing. But it's just whether that's going to be enough for Petr Yan. Now, the first fight I'm going to pull up some stats for. You can see that here. This is the first fight. It was quite a dominant performance. I'm not even going to say quieter. It was an absolutely complete domination from Merab. And the first fight, Yan's style was awful for Merab. He started super slow. He was going for some kicks now and then. And he was just unable to even start and get his gears going. And he got completely dominated. And one thing that people have pointed out about the fight, and I've even noticed this myself, is Petr Yan was coming into that one with a hand injury, and you can count on one hand the amount of count on the amount of digits you got on your body, how many times he even threw that right hand. So that could have definitely played a factor into the fight, but I'm not going to say it played a full factor, just because watching that fight, you can see the styles were always going to be difficult for Petr Yan. Now, Merab also did get his takedown record in this fight, and that tells me two things. His takedown record is in his takedown attempts record, not his takedown actual record. But it tells me two things when I see that. It tells me, one, he was a lot stronger than Petr Yan, because Petr Yan's very technical in his wrestling, got good wrestling instincts in the defensive wrestling. So one thing that you're realizing when you see that is that Merab's offensive wrestling, he must be super strong because he's using strength to take down Petr Yan a lot of the time. The other thing it tells me is that he probably needed those takedowns. When I say that, I'm not saying that like if he didn't get the 53rd takedown that he would have lost. No, that's not what I mean. I'm meaning that Merab might have needed to kill that time. He might have needed to bring the fight to Petr Yan. He might have needed to kill the clock for seconds on end to stop from the damage coming back at his way. Maybe he needed to do that takedown record. And honestly, if I'm watching that fight back, this is the most impressive performance in Merab Dvalishvili's career. Like, he's had more technical performances. He looks better now as a fighter. But this was the most impressive performance. This was the performance I watched, and I was like, God, this guy's on roids, man. And if I'm having that sort of reaction to someone, then that's a proper, incredible performance. And I'm tossing up between whether he got that takedown record because he needed the takedowns, because if he was on the feet, he was a sitting duck, which obviously isn't the case because the strike numbers are double for Merab Dvalishvili. But it also tells me that he's so much stronger than Peter. And you knew that coming into that fight, and you knew that after watching that he is so much stronger. He's bigger than Peter, and they're around the same height. But he is different worldly strong than Peter. Now, one other thing I wanted to bring up about the fight before, I don't want to talk about it too much because I know it's going to be very different watching it now, But the headbutt did create all of that swelling for Peter Yan. There was a headbutt, I can't remember the round that it was in, but it left a massive black eye, a massive shiner on Peter Yan, and it was literally like an egg on his face. But again, Yan's an absolute warrior. I bet he's tough as nails. So I don't think that that's where he's gone wrong anyway. But since that first fight, both guys have made a bunch of improvements. And I want to talk about Yan's improvements first, just because I think, although I don't necessarily think his improvements are better than Merab's, I just think that they work better for a Merab fight, which, now that I'm saying it, I sound like an idiot saying it like that. But when I say it, I mean Merab's changes work well across the board. Every opponent he comes up against, those changes and those improvements he's made will be across the board. Peter Yan, I think his changes, honestly, this is a controversial take. I think his changes when he was starting here brings him down to here for the fighters in the rest of the division. But then for a Merab fight, I think the changes he makes brings him up a little bit. Let me explain why. So, you heard what I thought Peter Yan's style was before the Merab fight, where it was a lot more kicks. You can watch the Sandhagen fight. This is the perfect fight to show you this. But Yan used to kick way more. He would kick constantly. And one thing that he's changed since then, he doesn't really kick that much. Like, he really doesn't. I used to see so many electric body kicks from Peter Yan. I would see some leg kicks coming out of nowhere. I'd see a spinning wheel kick in the 5th round against Corey Sandhagen. You would see a head kick follow a combination again against Corey Sandhagen. Like, there was moments time and time again of Peter Yan's career where he would be stringing together Muay Thai combinations. Now, that's very different now. He doesn't really throw those sorts of combinations. He's really focused on boxing and wrestling. He's focused on his takedown defense against guys like Figueiredo, and he's focused on getting his own takedowns on, similarly, guys like Figueiredo, Song Yadong was able to get some nice takedowns on Song, and you could see that he was really focusing on that. And then, also, this could partially be because of those knee injuries. The kicks are definitely harsh on Yan's knees, but I think Yan has also changed his style just so he's harder to take down for Merab, and so he's more dangerous in inflicting damage on Merab because he's focusing on boxing and wrestling, which is Merab's strengths. Now, if I'm talking about Merab's, if I'm talking about the changes that Merab has made, he's throwing a lot more sting on his shots. He's throwing a lot more force and effort behind those shots, and he's getting deeper on takedowns as well. And I think that both of those work hand in hand. He started getting deeper on takedowns naturally. The right hand over the top that he always throws when going for a single leg, that became more effective. And that has happened for his striking on the inverse, where his striking wasn't very good, but now that he's gotten so dangerous with his takedowns and he's gotten a lot more accurate with his takedowns, now that has become a lot more dangerous for him. So I think that I don't know why I moved that across, I'm sorry. But, yeah, I don't know why I did that, but I think that makes this fight a lot closer because we've got a Merab that's looking to throw more sting on his shots, looking to engage in the boxing more and get more sting on his shots, and he's looking to get deeper on these takedowns as well. So for Peter Yan, he's going to have more opportunity in the boxing, but he might have more chance of getting taken down if he misses a shot. So this is a very different fight than the fight we're seeing the first time. We've got a completely almost switched, like inverse personality. No, we've got an inverse style from them where Merab used to wrestle more, but now he's striking more. And we've got a Peter Yan that used to strike more, and now he's wrestling. So we're really going to see a closer fight. And I think that Merab was in control for the entire 5 rounds last time. You cannot tell me otherwise. But Peter's going to come way better prepared. 100%. You can't tell me otherwise. And early on, we've seen from Peter Yan that he's making it closer earlier in the fight. We've seen against Song Yadong that he wins the first round against Song. We see in the first round against Davidson Figueiredo, even if he gets taken down, he's able to win the round back. We see against pardon me. Oh, God. We've seen against Marcus McGee that even though Marcus was able to win that first round, hiccups now. Oh, this is so bad. I'm so annoyed. But Gonna have to give me 20 seconds whilst I recompose. But Petr Yan against Marcus McGee even made it close with him, and Marcus is an amazing first round fighter. So early on, Petr Yan is gonna try and make it close, and I think he will be able to. Probably. Oh my god. What can I do about this, man? No, I got it. So Petr Yan, he's been making it close early on. He's been trying to keep the rounds very, very close. Not underworking himself, but not overworking himself in the same time. And although Merab... Sorry, I just keep hiccuping. But although Merab has been starting faster recently, he still doesn't have the fastest round one. And round two is usually where Merab starts spam wrestling. And I think likely Petr Yan will be... Matt returned all the time in those last 4 rounds, and I honestly think I could see Peter unsuccessfully wrestling back. He tried in the first fight a couple of times, but not too many. I can't stop these hiccups, but I'm going to have to push through. But I'm going to start crying. No, I'm sorry. But Petr Yan in that first... Gonna cry if I have to record this a second time or a third time actually, but Peter will be Matt returned 100 times. Like, you know that's gonna happen in every single Merab fight. You cannot doubt that he will take someone down and Matt return them repeatedly. But will Peter be able to buy himself enough time before then? And I think round 2, even when Merab starts spam wrestling, I think that Peter's going to end up having a good round that round. I think he's going to... Oh my god, man. I'm going to cry, bro. But Petr Yan, in that second round, I think he's going to try and wrestle back, try and avoid getting spam wrestled by Merab. And I think Merab will win the round comfortably with 100 mat returns. Now, round 3, I think Peter's going to have some tricks up his sleeve. I think people are underestimating Petr Yan and the amount of craftiness that he has. And I think he's going to win that third round. So then he's going to have 1 and 3 in the bag. Round 2, pretty dominant to Merab. But then round 4 and 5, I just see them being close-ish rounds where Merab gets the better of him. I could see it being like the 4th and 5th round of the Umar fights, but without all of the defeated look on Umar's face. I think that Petr Yan's going to make it that close. So, let me know what you think of the fight in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to win this one? As always, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. I'm sorry about the hiccups for the last 2 minutes. Couldn't get rid of them.